Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan. And verily Ibrahim was an ummah, a nation in himself. The reason is because he had a number of reasons. From them is that he had 7 qualities which earned him this title, which earned him this quality. These qualities, or these seven qualities, are something which each and every one of us should be striving to attain. He had them all perfect, complete. Just like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his character was complete. He fulfilled his message. So let's take a look at these 7 qualities. The first of them, ikhwan, was his high-ranking status with Allah Most High. Now, is that something easy to achieve? Ibrahim alayhi salam had a very high status in the sight of Allah. From a point of reasoning, history has proved that Ibrahim alayhi salam had a high status. How do you know this? The Christians accepted him, the Jews accepted him, and the Muslims accepted him. All the 3 major religions on this earth accept Ibrahim alayhi salam. From his time up to this very day. And in actual fact, the Magians, the fire worshippers, the idol worshippers, they also make mention of him, but in different words, in a critical manner. So his name had lasted from that time to this day, and will go on to Yawm al-Qiyamah. So he existed, and he was known for his worship of one deity, one God. And he was known for calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one Lord, the Lord of this world, this universe. From the Quran and the Sunnah, it is well established that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loved His slave, His Prophet, His Messenger, His Khalil, His friend, Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because we're talking about his high-ranking status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan qanitan lillahi hanifan wa lam yakun minal mushrikeen. Which means that verily Ibrahim alayhi salam was qanitan. He was one who was patient and forbearance and a worshipper at night. His heart was tender and soft. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also described him as Inna Ibrahima lahalimun awwahun munib, which means verily Ibrahim alayhi salam was forbearing, tender-hearted, often returning to Allah. So this is the way of a prophet, often making tawbah, returning to Allah, often being soft-hearted. He was somebody who was forbearing, meaning hardship that came his way, he stood his ground. He didn't collapse and give up his religion and turn back on his heels. He didn't leave the worship of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further confirms his high-ranking status by saying, وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى Ibrahim. Peace be upon Ibrahim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of the worlds, is saying, peace be upon Ibrahim. Allah sends His permanent salam, which all of us say every day in our prayers. Don't we say when we say durood, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, then we say, Allahumma salli ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, innaka hamidun majid. Look, every Muslim on this earth is sending praise, peace, blessings upon Ibrahim alayhi salam. From the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all these 1400 years till now. Before that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was sending His praise upon Ibrahim alayhi salam. Why? This man was a nation, brothers. He was indeed a nation in himself. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he's mentioned the most in Surah Al-Baqarah, where he speaks about the king's aggression towards his wife. He talks about his childless life for many, many, many years. He talks about how he was given a child. After all these years, he was then ordered to leave him in a barren land and go away, far, far away. Leave his child, his only child, and his wife in a land where there was no agriculture, no animals. And then after that, he was ordered to sacrifice his son. SubhanAllah. And then he was tried with his father also. who was a worshipper of idols. And then he was thrown in the fire, tested with enmity from his society around him, who refused his message, and they tried to burn him alive. And many other hardships he had to bear. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him with al-kalimat, which he complied with all of. So this is why he was a nation in one man. The trials of this individual, this prophet, this messenger, this friend of Allah, he went through. No other prophet had gone through this. Ibn Abbas, radiallahu ta'ala, he said, no one has ever been tested in their religion to such a degree and remained steadfast upon it than Ibrahim alayhi salam. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put that. What do you think is the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him through these tests and these trials? This answer was in another hadith narrated in Tirmidhi by Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. He said, I asked the Messenger of Allah, which person is the most severely tested by Allah? He sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, the prophets, and then those similar to them, and then those similar to them, until a man will be tested in accordance to his religion. So if his religion is strong, his trial will be harder. And if his religion is weak, he will be tested accordingly to that degree. Hardships will continue to befall a slave until Allah leaves him to walk on the earth without any sin whatsoever. Because the hardships and the trials will purify the person. And indeed there are people on this earth walking sinless because of the constant trials, the constant tribulations, hardships. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was one such person. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loved Ibrahim alayhi salam. He was pleased with Ibrahim alayhi salam. And Ibrahim alayhi salam loved